my mindset every fight is this is my main event, this is my title fight, and Leon Edwards is going to be my next victim.
Main event Bilal Muhammad himself, right? Main event Muhammad. No, wait, main event Muhammad. I'm getting that.
That has a better ring to it.
Yeah, Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad, but this week he is main event Muhammad. Which let's start there, man. I mean, how excited are you to just get that first UFC main event under your belt?
Man, it's amazing. Honestly, it's like you sit there, you work for your whole life for this moment, and it's one of those things where people are like, man, did you think about it? I was like, bro, to be offered a main event spot on ESPN for the biggest promotion in the world, these are things that you dream about, and that, some of the best fighters in the world never had this chance to achieve this thing. So for me, it's a big goal, and it's just the beginning for me, honestly.
And you've already been receiving some credit for the tough road that you got here, just because I've never seen, I don't think I've ever seen anybody get more admiration or respect for just a realistic call out. After your last win against Diego Lima, everyone was like, that was a great call out, not because it was like, hey, I want to fight this big name superstar. It was like it was very realistic. And it's like sometimes these guys, they take their shot, which I respect, but it's not always a shot that's going to go in. You were calling out basically just anybody kind of in the top 10, around that top 10, when you fought Diego Lima a couple of weeks ago, and now here you are in the main event fighting a guy who's in the top 5 against Leon Edwards. So what happened in those 5 days?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I was sitting there, I called out Li Jingling. He's right above me, and everybody's like, bro, why didn't you call out a top 5 guy? You should have called out this guy. I'm like, dude, like, I hate guys when they waste call outs. Like when you got guys that are like, oh, let me get Nate Diaz, let me get Maz, but I'm like, you're not gonna get those fights. So why did you just waste it? Like, that's a wasted call out. For me, I wanted something realistic. Like, I haven't fought a ranked guy, and I wanted to fight a ranked guy. And I was like, man, now that I'm ranked, I want to climb that ladder. So it's like Li Jinglin, it made sense. It was a good fight. It was like an easy matchmaking fight for Sean Shelby. But hey, they're gonna skip me up all the way up to number 3. That makes it even easier for me, because for me, I think I belong in that top 5 anyway, and I think I could beat anybody in that division. And for me, rankings don't really matter. It's all about wins and losses. And I've won 8 of my last 9. He's on an 8-fight winning streak. So realistically, this is a real fight that is a good fight. People sit there and think, well, number 3 should be this much better than number 13, but it ain't that. This ain't college basketball. This ain't that where you have a season ahead of it. No, this is fighting, man. The guys that are active, the guys that are fresh, always with the momentum going on, those are the guys that are going to be winning, man. Like you saw Gilbert Burns last year. He had a huge year because he was active, back-to-back wins, and after 3 wins, he got a freaking title shot. So that's the type of wave I'm trying to ride. And, being active, being able to fight 3 weeks later, I'm happy with it. I was sitting at home after that win, and, you have a couple of days where you sit there, eat a little sloppy, you're laying down, you're like, what do I do now? Because, I didn't have no injuries, but I'm like, I want to go train. But my coach is like, nah, dude, relax, chill at home. And I'm not one of those guys that I'm very cheap. So I'm not going to sit there and be like, let me go on a vacation to Cancun or something like that. I was just like, all right, I'm chilling at home. Let me get a couple cupcakes and cookies, and I'm fine. And then after a couple of days, you're bored. You lost the high of your win. You're like, what's next? I'm looking at, man, am I going to get this Li Jinglin fight? Then all of a sudden, Ali called me like, hey, how you feeling? And I'm like, are they offering me Leon? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, let's go, man. Let's book it. Because I was like, when you get a call from your manager, something's up. So I was excited when he called, and I was like, oh man, this could be something good. And it worked out perfectly.
Wow. So you say yes right away, but what are like sort of the first things that go through your mind in terms of now, okay, now I'm booking a fight? Like, do any concerns go through your mind in terms of the quick turnaround, or in terms of stylistically with Leon? Like, once you say yes and agree to the fight, immediately where does the focus turn to?
The focus, honestly, right away, it just turned to getting back to the gym. And just, for me, I'm an overworker. So like I always like to overwork. So I was sitting there like, oh man, I got to go run 5 miles or something right now. And then my coach's like, bro, you just had a camp, relax. You're in good shape. How you feeling right now? Let's heal up. We don't need a spar or anything. Just getting a good game plan for what I need to do. I talked to a couple of guys that like I look up to, like Paul Felder, asking him, hey, my calf is a little sore. What should I do? You have any tricks or what's cause? Because you sat there, you fought Barbosa, you fought Hooker, and they went hard on the calf kicks with you and things like that, like little switches. And Ali told me what Khabib did and things like that. And I got a great team around me and guys, and it was just awesome, and like all those guys just just hearing them say that they have my back and like they believe in me, you know, it just motivated me that much more.
This might seem like a kind of a weird question, but I know you're obviously very confident. You wouldn't take the fight if you weren't super confident, and you took it like that. So, but like, can you compare if you had gone through a full camp with this opponent in mind, 5 rounds in mind, and let's say you're just peaking, you're at 100%. If that is the best Belal Muhammad, how close can you get to that under the circumstances when you just fought a few weeks ago, you're having to cut weight again, you didn't know about the opponent? Like, how close can you get to an ideal scenario? I mean, how can you make a comparison of those two?
Honestly, this is the perfect scenario for me if you think about it, because I'm coming off a win, so I have that fresh mindset of being in the cage, and then it gets easier when I fight more often, it gets a lot easier for me. I love to fight often, so like for me to get a quick turnaround, didn't get no injuries off that fight, I feel good. And then mindset wise, I don't have to stress about 8 weeks of thinking about Leon Edwards. I don't have to sit there and look at a million tapes of him and watch tapes of him all the time. You know, I'm getting all these, you know, now that you're main event, everybody wants to message you. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. Everybody has their game plan, but like I'll sit there and I'll ignore those messages because it gets annoying because everybody thinks they know what's good. For me, I fought probably like 5 or 6 southpaws in the division already, in the welterweight division. So like that's the only thing that had to change for me, was going from fighting a righty fighter to a southpaw fighter. He's not like a Damian Maia where I need to get specialists in there I need to train for them because I know all he's going to do is shoot on me. He's not a Wonder Boy where I need a karate guy where I wish I would have had that much more extra time with him. I train with great southpaws, great strikers. And like I said, he's good, but there's not nothing specific that he does that's amazing. So like he's good everywhere. So I'm comfortable with the way this fight is. Like the perfect fight to take on short notice from anybody in the top 5, where I don't need a specialist, that I wish I would have got an extra 4 weeks or 5 weeks of training specifically with this person for.
Nice. So last thing I would ask of you is, you know, going into this fight, whether it's this week or moments before it, will you think about like what's at stake for you? You are a guy who knows how hard it is sometimes to get a fight with a top ranked guy, you know, to get a main event. And if you win this fight, all of a sudden, what? I mean, you're right there in the top 4, top 5. You're calling out the biggest names in the division. You lose this fight, there's a big difference there. There's a lot at stake. Well, how much do you think about that in the days and, you know, even the hours leading up to the fight?
Honestly, where it's like I think about the task at hand. I always think about this. My next opponent is my biggest opponent, no matter what. Diego Lima was my biggest fight, where you have all these people like, oh, this is gonna be easy, that's gonna be easy, do this, and it's gonna be easy. And like people don't know. Like anytime, like everybody thought Adesanya was gonna dominate this fight and his striking was gonna be next level, but like that's not what Jan thought. Like all these people are like telling me like, you got nothing to lose, go out there, you got nothing to lose. I do got a lot to lose, man. I win this fight, I'm fighting for the title, or I'm fighting Kobe Covington. I'm right there in the mix. So I got a lot to gain from this fight, and I got a lot to lose from this fight, and it's life changes. So like I'm not going in there with the mindset of losing at all. I'm not going in there with the mindset of, yeah, I got nothing to lose. Yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm happy just to be here. I'm not. I'm here to win. I think I could be a champion. So I'm not going with that mindset that all these people are coming at me with, and I don't even know what they mean by that. Like, oh, well, who do you want to fight next after this? You know, maybe you could fight number 13 or 14. No, I'm looking at number 1. That's the only person I got my eyes on is Usman. So for me, Leon Edwards is my title fight. Every fight I fight on is my main event fight. So whether it's main event or not, I'm not even thinking about the spot it's on. The only thing that matters now is, all right, I get a little more extra interviews. But for my mindset, every fight is, this is my main event. This is my title fight. And Leon Edwards is going to be my next victim.